Right, so I ended up leaving it overnight. It's been almost 10 hours. We've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mythics so far, but I think what we're going to do is go to 50,000. Right, that's the easiest way to then look at, you know, mythics per floors or enemies killed or drop rates, right, to compare the two maybe. Again, there's so many other variables that go into this, so it's not concrete, but what we'll do, we'll go to 50,000. Right, so this is the item find max comp, so 12,029, right, because I'm using Phantasmal Claw, so I'm a little bit below, I think 12,042 was the maximum, and then we'll just do a normal 200 item find comp, prioritizing the other stats, right, resistance and withering and whatever else we can stack, and then we'll do it again. We'll go to 50,000, we'll see how many mythics we get, compare the two. If it's close or anything like that, I'll do more testing, but yeah. I don't know. Again, it's a very minute thing, but considering the hours you're spending, the amount of drops you're rolling against, right? Because just entities defeated, 70,000.3. Each of them have been rolled against. Each of them have had a improve of 0.005%, right? So it does add up. Okay, that's my argument for max item find. But yeah. We'll see if we can compare the two. Again, I might have high rolled, I might have low rolled. We don't know. We're so close, right? It's 40 floors to go. Going fairly quick, because that's also another thing, is the FPH counter, right? I might be able to get it higher, I might be able to get it lower, depending on the comp. Again, you don't want to do warping, because you don't want to warp past entities. You want to either be killing entities. In fact, you know, bonus chests are actually probably worse, because you get more drops out of not taking bonus chests. But I'll leave it on for the non-heightened item find test, right, just to make sure they're equivalent, but then we might do some tests without it, because yeah, in hindsight, one bonus chest versus a 2 or greater enemy room, you're better off taking the enemy room, because I don't think chests have a higher drop rates, but here we go, there we go, perfect save at 50,000, we'll exit, definitely take the screenshot so I don't forget, right, otherwise I will forget. So we are, 50,000, it took us roughly 40 hours, right? Call it 10 hours if you want. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Majestics, right? And again, to show the level thing, right? We got the Shiver Baron at 8, the Blade at 7, Bit Brand at 5, the Armor at 5, but you can find them in all the different stages of the levels. Therefore, there's even more items in the pool for you to roll against. Okay. Let me set up the normal comp. We'll still use the same bases, right? Grab them, but obviously I will tweak the item find, so it's not at 37. I was wrong, not 29, 1237, right? Versus if we do this, it should now be 1250. Is it just me here? Ah, you know what I forgot about? The pet, that's why. Right, I've got about the pets when I was showing it off last video. By the way, hi. I'm Clue, I'm Sir Dungeon 2. We are testing item find and the upper limits, right, by comparing or trying to compare max item find, which is 1250 apparently, right? I'm pretty sure this is the maximum item find setup versus just a 200 item find comp and getting mythics, right? The argument for, which I am for as well, coincidentally, is that there are enough items in the pool. You are defeating enough enemies and getting enough rolls that a minute or minuscule amount of improvement is still going to add up to something, right? That's my argument. So I'm going to set up the comp for a normal item find, right? I might look up the usual comp used for it, or I might just go do 200 item find or 220, whatever the recommendation is, and then stack withering, stack battle credit, stack whatever else I can. Right, so here's what I've ended up going with. So basically the same comp, just swapping out one of the Blade Masters for the Huntress, and then itemizing for 90 Withering, at least 100 Ore Find for the maximum Ore node. It should speed up progression, right, which is good. Means that we should get more floors cleared, we should get more of the higher enemy rooms cleared, theoretically, which means that we should be able to get the items quicker, right? Because again, we're going to 50,000, and the hope is that the time will decrease, but the mythics won't, so to speak, right? That would sort of prove my point. But we're running 237 item find because we've got the Stein. I don't have uranium plating on some stuff, right? Equipment's not perfect, but this is a general gist, right? So we're comparing 237 item find against 1230. What was it? 1235? I want to say 1230 something, right? It was 29 plus 8, 1237. There we go, 1237 item find. right? So we'll compare the two, we'll go to 50,000 again, and we'll see which is, you know, probably with the least amount of effort, better, right? I'll probably do a little bit more testing after. Maybe, I don't know. We'll leave that bonus chest on because we have bonus chests, but I think you don't want bonus chests because you can get more entities defeated without the bonus chests. We'll leave it on for comparison's sake. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in 10 hours. Well, we're not quite at 50,000, but, well, egg on the face, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 less hours, 2 hours less, right? As opposed to 6 in 9.5 hours. We're getting more battle credits, we're doing more floors per hour. But hey, I'd rather be proven wrong than not prove anything at all. Okay, so the biggest boost to finding mythics is definitely going to be just getting 200, right, and excluding X amount of drops from the loot rolls. But, right, this is most definitely a high roll, and I would probably say that the previous run with the highest item find is probably a low roll on getting mythics per hours, or mythics per drops, or mythics per floors, whatever you want to call it. But hey, I think it was 75,000 to 62,000. Again, 4,000 to 3,500 floors per hour. Not at 50k yet, and definitely quicker. So, I'm wrong. Easiest thing to say. Now, I do have a few items excluded from the list, right? Because I can't get the accessories again, I can't get any of the uniques again. But still, test says it all. I was wrong. Oh well. At least we know now, right? That marginal is definitely marginal. I mean, if you're up for testing it yourself, go nuts, right? I mean, at this point, I don't really need to test it, because again, I have mythics, so there's no point. You're probably going to struggle with floors anyway, so you probably want to run withering and other utility effects, right? Maybe status resist if you don't have the delirium gems, or the delirium gems, right? If you have them. So there's just so many alternatives that you'd want to run over item find. Damn. Right, mathematically speaking, again, my newt is still a positive, but I'll stop at this point. Right, I'm wrong. Okay, hands down, I'm wrong. Oh well. Anyway, that will probably do it for So Dungeon, I think. Right, I don't think there's anything else I want to accomplish here on the main save. I'm not going to, progress on this save. I'm not going to try and go high or get, what is it, 20 million or something is the goal, or 10 million. I'm not going to. And I'm not going to go for the relic caps or anything like that. Again, I like the early to mid game. All the just end game looped grinding is not for me, right? So we will leave it there. Plus, the other thing is, for speedrunning, I do make copies of the saves, right? So if I have to restart a world if I mess up or anything like that, then that's going to also reset any progress I make on the main save. So there really isn't much point in going over it. But for anyone interested, we might as well just go over the comps once more. I guess this is my progression comp, interestingly. To be honest, it's been ages, so I don't really know. I don't remember if we rewrote this, but we'll hire it nonetheless. What do we have? Right, so we're running max status resist, it looks like, withering, 100 ore find, dungeon key chance, and then just whatever excess we can get, right? The wizard will foretell, and then the janitor will hit, right? And I think I have it set up so that the wizard's either foretelling or defending. The idea being that we have foretell up 100% of the time, right? To make sure that we do get the most warping possible, as opposed to just having the wizard alternate between hitting and warping, right? So we go warp, always a hit, so it's always neutral, or +1, depending how you think about it. Then defend, hit, right? So there's a little bit of time lag, but I would hope, or my mentality back when I made this, would be that the extra warps you net by having foretell up 100% of the time is going to reward you, right? Because there are chances where you foretell, get a warp, and then don't have the opportunity to foretell again because of the cooldown, because of placement, because of all these different factors. So I think this just is meant to cut all that out. Then we have the ore find, so we alternate between item find to stack up resources for our chef, and then we go through our ore farm, which uses the magma souffle. You're meant to have wraps, right? We didn't save last time, right? With wraps to make sure that he has max stacks of magma souffle every time. It's a bit more resource dependent. I think it uses like an extra 50% or something close to that, but I do think it's worth it again. From what we found, I think it was 1,000 credits, you get about 40 to 50 uranium, right? As long as you have the food resources to utilize it, which the ratio was 30,000 credits on the item find comp right? Running Castle 1 onwards will get you about 25,000 resources, then 1,000 credits will spend that 25,000 resources and get you about 50 uranium. And then you can do the same thing in the Primal Lands, although Labradorite seems to be a lot more rarer because you only get about 20, you get about half as opposed to the uranium. That might be because there's more gem ores, right? Plus you can you get the normal ores as well? Either way, I think there might be more gem ores. I think that's probably the issue. And then that's it. Boss rush. Oh, we're not going to touch boss rush. There's comps. Boss rush has been completely figured out, right? So there are lots of resources online for boss rush, right? You can go infinite, you can go loop, you can go quick. It's been scienced to hell and back, so there's no point in me going over it. And then yeah, mythic farm. Don't worry about this. This is wrong, right? So that's the max item find. Well, actually, this is the max item find. I'm pretty sure possible in the game. So 1250, but it does make a lick of difference because I am, again, say it with me, completely wrong. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. See ya.